So today we're going to review Night of the Scarecrow. So as you saw in my last video, we took a look at the 1995 promo version of Night of the Scarecrow. Today we're going to review Night of the Scarecrow. Night of the Scarecrow came out to general audiences in 1996. This movie is definitely a B horror film. And right away I'm going to tell you it's not very good. Now, the comical thing is on the back of the VHS it says the Scarecrow's uglier than Pumpkinhead, meaner than Jason, and scarier than Freddy Krueger. When in reality, the Scarecrow just looks like the Scarecrow from Batman walking around with only one eye basically most of the time. It has the voice of like a Deadite from Evil Dead, so if you know what I'm talking about, or you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the first Evil Dead film, and when Cheryl gets possessed, that's pretty much how the Scarecrow talks.
Why have you disturbed our sleep, awakened us from our ancient slumber? You will die! Like the others before you. Hey there.
Now, the plot of the film, very, very, very thinly veiled. A warlock from like the 18th century helps save a town, and then the town finds out that this warlock is making their women have orgies and doing all kinds of weird stuff, so they murder him, and he plans vengeance. Comes back as a scarecrow looking for revenge, and this was at present time when he comes back, so the mid-90s. What a weird time to come back. Well, he comes back, starts killing people in the town looking for his book, and the two main protagonists in the film need to find a way to destroy him. So the movie, like I said, isn't very good, but at the same time it's got a certain charm, and it's because of the acting being so bad, but at the same time, the practical effects and the kills that the Scarecrow can perform when using his actual powers is actually very decent. The Scarecrow uses an assortment of weapons at his disposal to kill people, most of that being farming equipment. Which is kind of unfortunate because it's something I would expect to see if it were Jason Voorhees running around and killing people. As you know, Jason grabs pretty much whatever he can to dispose of camp counselors and whatnot. In this movie, this Scarecrow actually has powers that he doesn't utilize enough, because when he does utilize them, they're actually pretty gruesome and very cool and original. There is a one kill scene in particular that I said was my favorite, where he puts a piece of straw into a man's arm. The piece of straw travels up the guy's arm, and all of a sudden all of these vines and stuff start sprouting out of the guy's eyes and his mouth and his ears. His neck blows up with all the different vines that are coming out. It's actually pretty cool to see. Like I said, The practical effects are actually really well done, and that's because the guy that created the Scarecrow was actually the same guy who created and did all the practical effects for the first Nightmare on Elm Street film. The Scarecrow film somehow did receive a DVD and Blu-ray release, which for some people, Blu-ray collectors out there, that's pretty awesome for them, especially if they love B-horror films. For me, the VHS version is enough. There were two versions of the VHS release of this. The promo copy had a way better artwork on it, and the customer copy was actually pretty lame looking. It just looks like a scarecrow hanging there. This one actually looks pretty evil. If you're a VHS horror movie hunter and collector like I am, then I would definitely go for the promotional copy if you're looking for one, because it includes way more content. There's a behind the scenes vignette thing that starts before the film. You get to watch interviews with the actors, you get to watch interviews with the practical effect artist, and you get a bunch of commercials also that you wouldn't normally get on a customer's copy. The only weird thing that goes on with the VHS copy, the promo copy, is there's this really out of place ad for Rent-A-Kid, which goes on for way too fucking long. There's not enough of the Scarecrow in this film. Now, there's a lot of unnecessary parts where there's talking, a very, very long, drawn-out flashback of where the Scarecrow came from, but if you can get around those parts and you want to see some really cool practical effects when he does kill people, Night of the Scarecrow is definitely worth a rent, if anything, and if you are, like I said, a VHS horror collector, it's definitely a must-own, even though the movie is not good. So, if that makes sense to you, you understand when it comes to bad horror films what I mean, then go get it today. Anyway guys, this is Forrest from VHS or Die, and remember, be kind, rewind.